There is a level of intelligence few ever reach, a kind of intelligence that does not simply store facts, but commands reality, a mind so disciplined, so sharp, so precise, that it cannot be shaken, manipulated, or stopped. Today you are about to discover what it means to become dangerously smart. Not cleverness that fades, not knowledge that gathers dust, but intelligence forged into power. This is the point where ordinary thinking ends and unstoppable mental mastery begins. There comes a point in life when you realize that ordinary thinking will never carry you to extraordinary places. The world is filled with people who memorize facts, who recite knowledge, who collect degrees and certificates, yet remain powerless when life demands more than memorization. True intelligence is not about how much information you can store in your head, but how you can use it, how you can shape it, and how you can bend it to create the reality you desire. To become dangerously smart is to awaken a power inside you that most will never touch. It is not about being clever for the sake of sounding wise. It is about being sharp enough to cut through deception, strong enough to resist manipulation, and disciplined enough to rise above mediocrity. When you hear the words dangerously smart, do not think of danger in the sense of destruction. Think of danger in the sense of becoming untouchable, unshakable, unstoppable. A dangerously smart mind is not one that falls victim to distractions, lies, or fear. It is a mind that sees through the illusions that trap the average person. It is a mind that can separate truth from noise, strength from weakness, and opportunities from distractions. When you build this kind of mind, you no longer stumble in darkness. You walk with clarity, with certainty, with direction that others cannot understand. Most people allow their intelligence to remain dormant. They believe they were born with a fixed level of ability, as if their brain has a permanent ceiling. But this is the greatest lie. Intelligence is not fixed. It grows, it sharpens, it evolves when you train it with intention. Your mind is like steel. The more you forge it through discipline, the stronger it becomes. The more you challenge it with questions, the sharper it gets. Every page you read, every problem you solve, every challenge you face adds another layer to your intelligence. And soon you begin to notice something extraordinary. What once seemed complicated becomes simple. What once overwhelmed you now looks like a puzzle waiting to be solved. Becoming dangerously smart begins with awakening this awareness. It begins with the decision that you will not settle for the shallow surface of life. You will not accept what is handed to you without question. You will not drift in the current of society's expectations. You will sharpen your thinking until it becomes a force so powerful that it cuts through confusion and reveals opportunity where others see nothing. Intelligence is not passive. It is active, alive, demanding that you use it, refine it, and protect it from the poisons of laziness and fear. When you embrace this awakening, your entire perspective shifts. You no longer envy those who seem to have it all because you realize that everything can be built when you have the right mindset. You stop blaming circumstances because your intelligence shows you that. Every circumstance contains a hidden advantage waiting to be discovered. You stop doubting yourself because your sharpened mind begins to reveal the truth. You are capable of far more than you once believed. This is the starting point of becoming dangerously smart. It is not about boasting. It is not about arrogance. It is not about appearing superior. It is about gaining control over the most powerful tool you have ever been given, your mind. A dangerously smart mind does not serve ego, it serves purpose. It builds, it creates, it transforms. And when you commit yourself to awakening this level of intelligence, you will begin to see what few people ever see, that the mind, once mastered, becomes the most unstoppable force in the world. The mind is the sharpest weapon you will ever possess, yet most people never learn how to wield it. They allow it to dull, to rust, to be filled with the thoughts and opinions of others until it no longer belongs to them. But when you decide to take control of your mind, when you discipline it, train it, and polish it, it becomes more powerful than anything money can buy or status can provide. Think of your mind as a blade. A dull blade cannot cut. It bends. It breaks. It struggles against resistance. but a sharpened blade slices through barriers with ease. In the same way, an undisciplined mind stumbles at challenges, while a disciplined mind cuts straight through them. This is why the mind, once forged, becomes the most dangerous weapon of all, not against people, but against obstacles, ignorance, and fear. A dangerously smart mind does not react to life blindly. It strategizes. It does not panic when things go wrong. It calculates. It does not fall for illusions or shortcuts. It recognizes the hidden traps and steps over them with clarity. This is why the mind must be treated with the same seriousness as a warrior treats his weapon. A warrior cleans, sharpens, and protects his sword every single day because he knows the moment he neglects it, the weapon becomes weak and unreliable. In the same way, you must sharpen your mind with knowledge, reflection, and discipline. You must remove the rust of doubt, the dust of laziness, and the cracks of fear. You must feed it with powerful thoughts and direct it toward powerful goals. When you do this, your mind becomes so sharp, so precise, that life cannot stop you. Most people fear external enemies, but the greatest battles are fought within the mind. Your thoughts can build you or destroy you. They can serve as shields or as chains. If you do not master your mind, it will master you. If you do not train your mind, it will betray you. But when you claim ownership of your inner world, when you sharpen your focus, discipline your emotions, and expand your knowledge, you become equipped with the most dangerous weapon of all, a mind that cannot be controlled, cannot be manipulated, and cannot be broken. With this weapon, you are no longer at the mercy of the world. Instead, the world bends before the strength of your intelligence-dot spark that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. To become dangerously smart, you must develop the habit of questioning everything. Do not accept life at face value. Do not take the surface answer as the final truth. Every system, every rule, every belief that surrounds you was created by someone no smarter than you. If you live your life simply accepting what you are told, you hand your power to those who benefit from your ignorance. But when you question, when you dig deeper, when you refuse to be satisfied, with shallow explanations you uncover truths that most will never see. Questioning is not rebellion, it is intelligence. It is the act of sharpening your mind against the whetstone of reality. The more you question, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more powerful you become. The danger of blind acceptance is that it leads to a life of limitation. People who never question why they do what they do remain trapped in cycles of mediocrity. They follow patterns set by others, chasing goals they never chose for themselves, living lives that were scripted long before they had the chance to think independently. But the person who questions does not fall into this trap. They pause, they reflect, they ask, is this true? Is this necessary? Is this mine or is this borrowed? That single act of questioning can break chains that have held generations captive. Dangerous intelligence is not about knowing all the answers. It is about refusing to stop searching for them. The willingness to challenge assumptions is the root of freedom. When you question everything, you gain vision that others lack. You see the flaws in systems that people worship. You recognize the weaknesses in strategies that seem unshakable. You discover opportunities hidden in places where others see only barriers. This questioning mind is dangerous not because it destroys, but because it cannot be fooled. It cannot be manipulated by fear, trends, or shallow promises. It cuts through illusions with clarity. To become dangerously smart, you must give yourself permission to doubt, to explore, to challenge. You must treat every answer as the beginning of a deeper question. This is how great minds are built. This is how unshakable wisdom is formed. And this is how you will rise above the average, by refusing to accept the surface and daring to uncover the truth beneath it. Intelligence without emotional control is like a sword in the hands of a child. It may look powerful, but it is reckless and dangerous to the one who holds it. True intelligence begins to transform into dangerous intelligence when you master your emotions. Most people believe being smart means solving complex problems or memorizing vast amounts of information. But the reality is, the sharpest minds often collapse under the weight of their uncontrolled feelings. Anger blinds judgment. Fear paralyzes action. Doubt whispers lies that kill potential before it is even tested. But the person who learns to discipline their emotions gains an advantage that is nearly impossible to defeat. Emotional intelligence is not about suppressing feelings. It is about mastering them so they serve you, not enslave you. Think about the power of self-control. The one who controls their anger cannot be provoked. The one who controls their fear cannot be manipulated. The one who controls their desires cannot be bribed or distracted. This is where true danger lies, in becoming untouchable. A dangerously smart person understands that emotions are energy, and energy must be directed. Instead of wasting it in bursts of rage or sinking in pools of despair, they channel it into strategy, into persistence, into vision. Their emotions fuel them, but never rule them. While others burn out in cycles of frustration and regret, they remain steady, clear, and sharp, cutting through challenges with precision. Emotional intelligence creates influence. People are drawn to those who remain calm when storms rage, to those who radiate clarity when others are consumed by confusion. The dangerously smart do not shout to prove their strength. Their very presence speaks louder than words. Their calmness becomes authority. Their restraint becomes influence. Their ability to see through the fog of emotion allows them to make decisions that others cannot. This is why mastering emotions is a form of dangerous intelligence. It gives you control over yourself, and through that control, you gain power over your environment. To rise to this level, you must practice awareness of your emotions, discipline in your reactions, and strength in your patience. When you reach this mastery, you will not just be smart, you will be unshakably, dangerously smart. Focus is the foundation of dangerous intelligence. Without focus, even the brightest mind scatters its energy into fragments that never amount to anything. A distracted mind may know 1,000 things but accomplishes nothing. The disciplined mind, however, knows how to channel its thoughts into a single point of concentration, and in that state it becomes unstoppable. Focus is like a magnifying glass. When sunlight is spread across a surface, it is warm, but when concentrated through the glass, it burns with fire. Your mind works the same way. Spread across endless distractions, it remains weak. Directed at one goal with unwavering attention, it becomes a force that bends reality in your favor. The modern world thrives on stealing focus. Every sound, every notification, every temptation is designed to pull your mind in 100 directions. The average person lives in constant distraction, chasing one thought, abandoning another, jumping from one desire to the next. This constant fragmentation makes them weak, restless, and unfulfilled. But the person who trains their focus creates an invisible shield around their mind. They can ignore the noise. They can silence the pull of distractions. They can dedicate themselves so completely to a purpose that nothing can break their concentration. This ability is rare, which is why it is powerful. When you focus with such intensity, you move faster, think sharper, and accomplish in a year what others cannot in a lifetime. A dangerously smart mind understands that focus is not just about ignoring the unimportant, but about protecting the important. It is about setting boundaries around your energy and refusing to waste it on things that do not build you. It is about saying no to distractions, no to meaningless battles, no to temptations that weaken you. It is about devoting yourself fully to the pursuit of mastery. Focus turns ordinary people into masters, dreamers into achievers, and potential into power. Once you build this discipline, you will notice how the world begins to change around you. Opportunities become clearer, problems become smaller, goals become achievable. And with every passing day, your intelligence sharpens because it is no longer scattered. It is concentrated like a laser, piercing through obstacles with ease. Focus is not a small habit, it is the master key. With it, you do not just think, you create. You do not just plan, you execute. And when you execute with precision, you rise far beyond the reach of those who allowed their minds to remain scattered. Knowledge alone does not make you powerful. The world is filled with people who read endlessly, who collect information, who know statistics, dates, and theories, yet their lives remain stuck. They mistake accumulation for transformation. But dangerous intelligence begins when knowledge is turned into strategy. Information without application is wasted potential. Strategy is the bridge between knowing and achieving. It is the ability to take what you learn, shape it into a plan, and then act on it with precision. A dangerously smart mind understands that wisdom is not measured by what you know, but by what you can do with what you know. When you begin to use knowledge as strategy, your thinking changes. You stop reading just to feel informed and start reading to find solutions. You stop listening just to agree and start listening to identify opportunities. You stop observing just to be entertained and start observing to uncover patterns, weaknesses, and openings that others overlook. Every book, every conversation, every experience becomes fuel for action. This shift is what separates the thinker from the doer, the dreamer from the builder. The dangerously smart do not wait for perfect conditions. They analyze what they know, make a plan, and move forward while others are still discussing possibilities. This ability to convert knowledge into strategy makes your intelligence sharp and practical. It allows you to adapt when situations change because instead of memorizing answers, you create solutions. It gives you confidence because you know that no matter what comes, your mind will find a way. And it makes you powerful because you stop being dependent on others to guide you. You become your own source of direction. Dangerous intelligence is not about showing off what you know. It is about quietly applying it in ways that create undeniable results. Every lesson you've learned, every failure you've experienced, every truth you have uncovered can become a weapon if you know how to use it strategically. The world does not reward knowledge, it rewards applied knowledge. And once you master this, your mind becomes more than sharp, it becomes untouchable. Foresight is the skill that elevates intelligence from clever to dangerous. Most people react to life only after events have unfolded. They wait for problems to arrive before they start thinking of solutions. They wait for opportunities to pass before they realize what they missed. But the dangerously smart do not wait. They anticipate. They study patterns. They read between the lines. They observe human behavior, and they project outcomes long before others are even aware something is happening. Anticipation is the power to see beyond the present moment. It allows you to prepare, to position yourself, and to strike at the perfect time. This is why foresight transforms intelligence into a weapon. It turns life from a battlefield of surprises into a chessboard where you are always several moves ahead. When you develop foresight, nothing truly catches you off guard. Even in uncertainty, your mind has prepared multiple possibilities, multiple exits, multiple strategies. This is not paranoia. It is wisdom. It is the recognition that life is not random chaos, but a game of patterns and probabilities. Those who ignore this truth remain forever reactive, running from problem to problem, wondering why life feels so overwhelming. But those who anticipate step into every situation with calmness. They are ready because they have already thought ahead. While others are scrambling, they are executing. While others are confused, they are confident. While others are paralyzed, they are already moving forward. This advantage is why foresight is feared and respected. It makes you capable of navigating storms with a level head while the rest of the world drowns in panic. To build foresight, you must train your mind to think beyond the immediate. Ask yourself, if I take this path, what comes next? If I make this choice, what ripple effects will follow? If I encounter this obstacle, how will I respond? By practicing this kind of thinking, you sharpen your ability to see what others cannot. You begin to spot traps before you step into them. You recognize hidden opportunities while others are blind to them. And with time, your confidence grows because you realize that no matter what comes, you will not only survive, you will thrive. This is the essence of dangerous intelligence, the ability to think far ahead, to prepare in silence, and to act with precision when the moment arrives. The person with foresight is not simply smart, they are untouchable because they are always prepared for what lies ahead. Silence is one of the greatest weapons of the dangerously smart. While most people rush to speak, eager to prove themselves, to be heard, or to fill the air with noise. The truly intelligent understand the hidden power of holding back. Silence allows you to see what others miss. It forces you to listen, to observe, to read between the lines of words and actions. In silence, you collect information. You see people reveal their true intentions, because those who talk too much often expose more than they should. A dangerously smart person does not waste words. They use them sparingly, like arrows shot with precision. Their silence makes their presence stronger, their thoughts deeper, and their actions more impactful. There is strength in restraint. A person who can remain silent in the heat of conflict shows mastery over their emotions. A person who can listen fully instead of interrupting shows mastery over their ego. A person who does not reveal every plan, every thought, every dream protects their vision from those who would seek to weaken or discourage it. This is why silence is feared, because it creates mystery, and mystery creates power. People cannot manipulate what they do not understand. They cannot destroy what they cannot see. By staying silent, you protect your mind from intrusion and preserve your energy for action instead of wasting it in arguments and meaningless debates. But silence is not passive. It is active. It is deliberate. It is a conscious decision to rise above the noise of the world and preserve your strength for what truly matters. The dangerously smart know when to speak and when to stay quiet. They know that words once spoken cannot be taken back, but silence can never be used against you. They understand that wisdom grows in the spaces where others are too impatient to wait. Silence gives you the chance to think, to plan, to prepare your next move with clarity. And when you finally do speak, your words carry weight because people have learned that your silence is never empty. It is filled with power, purpose, and discipline. To master silence is to master control. And to master control is to step into a level of intelligence that few will ever reach. Impulse is the enemy of dangerous intelligence. Every unplanned reaction, every hasty decision, every moment acted upon without thought chips away at the power of the mind. Most people live at the mercy of their impulses, allowing desires, frustrations, or fleeting emotions to dictate their actions. They regret decisions, repeat mistakes, and waste energy on things that lead nowhere. But the dangerously smart understand that true power comes from restraint. They pause before they act. They weigh consequences. They master the ability to delay gratification, knowing that patience is not weakness, it is preparation. Impulse, when controlled, becomes fuel. Uncontrolled, it becomes destruction. Mastery over impulse is not natural, it is built. It requires conscious effort and constant awareness. It requires saying no to distractions, resisting the temptations that lead away from your purpose, and choosing action based on thought rather than desire. The mind that acts without reflection is weak. The mind that waits, calculates, and then acts is unstoppable. Every time you resist the urge to speak in anger, to make a rash choice, or to chase instant satisfaction, you strengthen your mental muscle. You train your mind to act as a weapon of precision, not a tool of chaos. The dangerously smart are not swayed by momentary thrills. They move deliberately toward mastery, success, and clarity. Impulse also clouds judgment and blinds perception. People driven by emotion make mistakes that intelligence alone cannot correct. They overreact, misread situations, and create problems where none existed. But when you master impulse, your mind becomes a calm, clear lens through which reality is observed accurately. Decisions become informed, strategies become effective, and actions become powerful. The ability to delay gratification, to pause and evaluate, and to act at the perfect moment gives you an advantage few can match. The world rewards the patient, the calculated, and the deliberate. When you control your impulses, you do not just think, you dominate. You do not just react, you create your destiny with precision. The mind that masters impulse becomes a mind that cannot be shaken, manipulated, or stopped, and this is the essence of dangerous intelligence. Failure is not the end. It is the raw material of dangerous intelligence. Most people see failure as a verdict, a permanent marker of incapacity or weakness. They hide from it, blame others for it, or allow it to crush their spirit. But the mind that becomes dangerously smart sees failure differently. It sees every setback as feedback, every mistake as data, every defeat as a lesson waiting to be learned. Failure is not something to fear, it is something to harness. The more you fail, the more information you gather. The more you learn, the sharper your mind becomes. Failure fuels growth, and growth sharpens intelligence into a weapon that cannot be ignored. The dangerously smart do not react to failure with despair. They react with analysis. They ask, what went wrong? What can I do differently? How can I turn this obstacle into an opportunity? This shift in perspective transforms failure from a roadblock into a stepping stone. Every time others crumble under disappointment, the dangerously smart rise higher, stronger, and more prepared. They understand that mistakes are inevitable, but destruction is optional. By embracing failure and dissecting it with clarity, they extract the exact lessons needed to improve, innovate, and advance. This is why intelligence, coupled with resilience, becomes dangerous. It converts life's attacks into tools of empowerment. Turning failure into fuel also requires emotional control. Most people react to setbacks with frustration, fear, or regret, allowing emotion to cloud judgment and decision-making. The dangerously smart, however, separate emotion from analysis. They allow themselves to feel the moment, but they do not let it dictate their actions. They transform disappointment into determination, setbacks into strategy, and loss into learning. Every failure becomes a step closer to mastery, every misstep an opportunity to refine their plan, every challenge a chance to strengthen their mind. The ability to turn failure into fuel creates a momentum that others cannot match. While the world fears mistakes, you embrace them. While the world collapses, you rise. And through this, your intelligence evolves into something truly dangerous, unyielding, precise, and unstoppable. True influence is born from wisdom, not noise. Most people believe influence comes from charisma, status, or sheer volume of words. They shout, they perform, they seek attention, hoping others will follow. But the dangerously smart understand that influence is subtle, quiet, and far more powerful. It comes from the clarity of thought, the depth of understanding, and the consistency of action. When people recognize that your decisions are measured, your actions deliberate, and your knowledge applied with precision, they are drawn to you naturally. Influence through wisdom is not forced. It is earned silently, and it carries far more weight than anything else. The mind that influences through wisdom sees beyond the surface of interactions. It recognizes what motivates people, what fears control them, and what drives them forward. It does not manipulate through lies or pressure. It guides through insight, example, and understanding. People follow the dangerously smart, not because they have to, but because they recognize intelligence applied with purpose. When you consistently demonstrate clarity in decisions, calmness in chaos, and foresight in uncertainty, others begin to rely on your judgment. Your words, carefully chosen, carry authority. Your silence, strategically maintained, commands attention. Influence becomes a natural byproduct of your mastery, because people cannot ignore. Someone who consistently demonstrates thoughtfulness, precision, and power of mind. Wisdom combined with influence creates unstoppable momentum. While the average mind struggles to persuade or convince through gimmicks or fleeting charm, the dangerously smart shape the environment around them without struggle. Their insight becomes guidance, their patience becomes strategy, and their calm presence becomes leadership. The influence of a mind sharpened by discipline, focus, and emotional mastery is not superficial. It penetrates decisions, shapes actions, and inspires trust. This type of influence is far more durable than the attention gained through noise or showmanship. It is permanent, respected, and feared in the right measure. To achieve this, you must cultivate knowledge, temper it with emotional intelligence, refine it with strategy, and exercise it with precision. Influence through wisdom is the hallmark of dangerous intelligence. It is quiet yet undeniable, subtle yet transformative, and it ensures that the power of your mind extends far beyond yourself. The final transformation is the culmination of every choice, every discipline, every lesson you have embraced. Becoming dangerously smart is not a moment, it is a process, a relentless forging of the mind, until it reaches a level of clarity, precision, and power that few will ever experience. By now you've learned to question, to focus, to control your emotions, to turn knowledge into strategy, to anticipate, and to master silence and impulse. Each step has built upon the last, shaping a mind that is unshakable, or unstoppable, and unbound by the limits that confine ordinary thinkers. The final transformation is the point where your intelligence no longer serves trivial desires. It serves purpose, vision, and mastery over your own destiny. At this stage, you begin to notice the profound changes in your perception of life. Problems that once seemed overwhelming now appear as opportunities waiting to be seized. Challenges that once caused doubt now sharpen your strategy. You operate with foresight, patience, and clarity, seeing the ripple effects of every choice before it is made. Your mind has become a tool of creation, not reaction, a force of influence, not confusion. The transformation is not external, it is internal. Your confidence is no longer dependent on external validation. Your power is no longer measured by recognition. It is measured by the strength, clarity, and discipline of your own thoughts. With this level of intelligence, you step into life differently. You no longer drift with the currents of chance or circumstance. You no longer allow fear, doubt, or distraction to dictate your actions. You act with intention, precision, and authority. Others may not understand the depth of your transformation, but that is irrelevant. What matters is the control, insight, and capability that now define you. You have become a mind that cannot be easily manipulated, a force that cannot be ignored, and a presence that shapes your environment by sheer clarity of thought. This is the essence of dangerous intelligence, the transformation from ordinary to extraordinary, from reactive to strategic, from average to untouchable. The final transformation is not a destination, it is a continuous evolution. Every decision, every lesson, every moment of focus continues to sharpen your mind. You now carry a responsibility because a dangerously smart mind cannot waste its potential. It must be applied, cultivated, and used to create results, influence outcomes, and master every challenge it faces. When you fully embrace this transformation, you realize the ultimate truth, intelligence. When disciplined, focused, and applied becomes power beyond measure, you are no longer just smart, you are dangerously smart, and nothing will ever be able to stop you. You have seen what it takes to transform your mind into a force that cannot be ignored. Every question asked, every emotion controlled, every moment of focus, every lesson learned brings you closer to becoming dangerously smart. This is not a path for the weak, the distracted, or the careless. It is a path for those who dare to master themselves and rise above the ordinary. When you commit to this journey, nothing can stand in your way. Your mind becomes your greatest weapon, your most loyal ally, and your ultimate power. You are no longer just smart. You are dangerously smart.